Hi, pen people. It's Kim and Sandro, the pen couple.
We're here today to go over our haul from the Philly Pen Show.
It was quite a show.
It was a great show, at least if you're not my bank account.
Or mine. I think we're going to start with the non-pen purchases that we bought.
Okay, great. So, do you want to go first or should I?
You can go first.
Okay, so I have been eyeing for a while these Lockfee pen cases. They're a little more casual. I know a lot of people in the community like leather cases. I think these more casual cases fit my style a little bit better. And so I got two. One is their Quattro V2 that, is a little bit misnamed because the original one held 4 pens. This one holds 4 pens and one little slot in the middle. So these are great. They're offset slots. So when you put stuff in, they don't hit each other. There's a little bit of offset. So that's great. And I really am happy with this case. The other case I bought is a travel journal case for passport size. It's got these elastic bands similar to a famous Japanese brand and slots and places for pens. And I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to fill this all out yet. I've decided in 2026 I'm going to try and journal more. And this is my attempt to have a journal with me in my bag every day at work. And the other things I got are small. They're going to be hard to see. I got nibs. So I got one flex nib from Franklin Christoph, and I got one nib, it's black and gold, from Yo-O Shop. The Yo-O Shop nib I bought specifically to get a grind. I never wrote with this nib before it got a grind. It was straight to the Nibmeister. So yeah, that's my non-pen purchases for the Philly Pen Show.
I started with a sticker. I just saw the sticker and it instantly made me laugh. Be patient with me. I'm from the 1900s. I did get a little bit of ink. I bought this ink from Mario in Toys in the Attic. It's not a fountain pen friendly ink, I don't think, but it's a bright green ink and it's got a dragon on it. It's super fun. And then I bought this little cartridge. Every once in a while I carry ink cartridges with me instead of a bottle of ink. And these ink cartridges are for a Visconti pen, but they come in this cute little case. And so I thought this would be a good way to transport my ink cartridges. Anytime I carry them, I wind up kind of losing them in my bag. So I kind of more like the case than the ink, but I definitely like that.
Is the case exclusive to Visconti ink or will it hold any cartridge?
I don't know. I haven't tried to put other size cartridges in there, but I think this is fairly standard size cartridge. At least I'm pretty certain this will fit my Quaco cartridges and my Pilot cartridges. Haven't tried swapping them in yet, but I think it's a fairly standard size. And I just like this concept of being able to travel with my ink. So. And then also from Mario, so both of those were from Mario, I got this beautiful paper. And I've seen this paper before, I've bought some of it, but this was a notepad. And so I've bought the cards and envelopes, but this is just a really pretty pad. It's got this great Italian paper on it. And I enjoy the designs, I enjoy the way the paper writes. And so this will go on my desk at work for when I need to make a quick little note. So those are my non-pen purchases. So the first fountain pen that I got was this lovely Wahl Eversharp Deco band. It's larger than a lot of the vintage pens that I have. It's got a great nib on it and it was in excellent condition. So I enjoyed writing with it when I tested it. And it's different than what I usually have, but something spoke to me about this pen. So that was my first pen.
So we made lists before we got to the show, and at the top of my list was a Waterman 52 with a wet noodle nib in red ripple. And I got the Waterman 52 part right. So I bought two Waterman 52s. One was a very good deal. One was in excellent condition. Neither one's a wet noodle, although they both are very, very flexible. They're both wood grain, not red ripple. So not quite the pattern I wanted, but it's really hard to tell the difference unless you know the difference. They're in great condition. Well, this one's in great condition. Had to get it. Was one of the things I was hunting for immediately. The other pen was a phenomenal deal. It has two problems. Number one, it had no clip. So this is an accommodation clip I picked up at the show. that replaces the clip that was supposed to be on here that's missing, and it needs to be resacked. But I've never resacked a vintage pen before. I've never resacked any pen before, and so this is going to be my first opportunity to resack a pen. It's not supposed to be the hardest thing in the world, but I'm a little nervous. Hopefully it goes well, and I get two lovely, lovely Waterman 52s as a byproduct of going to the show.
The second pen that I got was a Swan. I have maybe one or two other Swans in my collection, but this is my first full gold overlay, and the pattern on the outside of the pen was just a little bit different than what I've seen on other pens. It's in pristine condition, and it's got a great flexible nib on it. So this one was hard to pass up. I was trying to decide between these two vintage pens, and I wound up getting both because that's usually my answer. So that was my second one.
So again, I had a list before the show, and I was working my way down the list. And the next pen that I came across that was on my list was a Waterman 100 year, and in this case, in the red ruby lucite. And I hadn't particularly wanted the red ruby lucite. I'd been looking for the amber celluloid, but this is a rarer pen. It's a more iconic example of the 100-year pen, and I thought, well, this is great, and it came with a free pencil. And after I bought that, I was going by a different table, and there was the 100-year pen in amber that I'd come looking for. So this is the amber celluloid version of the 100-year pen. And so that was what was on my list. So I got the rarer one, and then I walked by the one I had been looking for, and it had to come home with me as well. And then we ran into a dealer who's a good friend of ours, and lo and behold, another Waterman 100-year pen and pencil set, this time in the brown or burgundy colorway. I wish I regretted my purchases. I don't. I'm truly ecstatic to have an opportunity to have all of these, and in two cases, the matching pencil. So yeah, that was my second purchase.
Do you think you're going to hunt down the matching pencil to the one that doesn't have a pencil?
Why would you say that?
I just
Why
feel
would you
like
do that?
I just feel like
Don't do
you're going to
those-
need
do-
to complete the set.
Don't do that.
Well, it's odd to have two sets and one non-set. And so since you were getting all the 100-year Watermans, I actually found a 100-year Waterman set that I got for myself. And it's in blue. It's the smaller size. Came with a lovely little case. This was a little bit more of an impulse purchase for me. I don't regret it because it's a fun pen to have. I'm gonna have to clean it up a little bit, but I was like, well, if you're getting all these 100 years, then I should be able to get a set of my own. So that was mine.
At this point, I started straying from my own list because there was a mint, and I mean mint. The sticker's still on it, Pilot Miu. And the Pilot Miu has an integrated nib. I have a weakness for pens with integrated nibs. The Miu is iconic. It's lovely. It's a wonderful writer. This Miu is special because not only is it mint, it's an FM, a fine medium nib. It is pretty easy to find fine. Not easy, but you can find mediums. A mint condition fine medium appears to be a little bit of a unicorn. And so it came home with me as well.
My next pen, I love tiny pens. To give an idea for scale of this pen is a Q-tip. And so this pen is smaller than a Q-tip. It's a tiny little Peter Pan nib. When I showed this to people, everybody was like, well, that's not a real pen. No, yes, it really is a real pen. It is an eyedropper. It has this tiniest nib, and it's celluloid, which is, I guess, unusual, but it is an eyedropper. And so I will have to fill it probably with a syringe. And my guess is that this will be on a necklace, and I will wear it and enjoy it. I probably will ink it and make sure it doesn't leak, but more of just a conversational piece, but also just a fun little piece of history to save.
So after the Miu, the same vendor showed me the Parker 50. And I said I have a soft spot for integrated nibs. And so what does he show me? Before Pilot came out with the Miu, Parker came out with the Parker 50 with, wouldn't you know it, an integrated nib. And this is a lovely gold-filled Parker 50 in that golden brown tone. I don't normally go for that. I normally go for the cooler tones. This just spoke to me, and yeah, it joined the club. If you can't tell, we bought a lot of pens. So we're not done. So after my Parker 50,
I got this Waterman foreign pen. This is more of a modern pen, but it was in with a bunch of vintage pens. And there was just something about the colorway of it. It's black and red. It feels like a very Maryland pen. It wasn't a lot of money. I think in the end I wound up talking down on the price. So, I just really liked the way it looked. It just was a little bit interesting. After I did a little bit of research on it, I do think that this nib section doesn't belong to this pen. I think the nib section is supposed to be red. So I guess now I have a job to track down the correct part. But even though it's maybe a little bit of a Franken pen, I still really enjoy the way it looks, and I'm gonna hopefully enjoy the way it writes. Yeah.
can I just point out that a pen from the 1980s, that counts as vintage. This was somewhat on my list. This is a Parker Vacuumatic. This was not a purchase. I traded to Parker Vacuumatic Juniors to get the matching pen and pencil in the senior trim. There's very little difference. Size-wise, there is a tiny difference. The gold band here is a wide gold band as opposed to the two narrow gold bands that would have been on the junior. Was it really worth the trade? No, it was not worth the trade. So this is not a pen purchase. I declare this as a neutral trade. I won't explain where I got the two Parker Juniors.
The next pen that I want to talk about is a Ranga pen. And so I had on my, I don't know, call it a bingo list. On my list for the pen show was to find an ebonite pen. And I had a hard time choosing. He had a lot of different sizes and shapes at very reasonable price points. When I saw these ebonite pens, I actually saw this one and thought that you would really like it. And so I found one that I liked and then called you over the table. And so we both wound up walking away with the Ranga pen.
So Ranga Pens from India makes a series of ebonite pens and acrylic pens, and they brought all their models. And it was great to be able to see everything out in front of us and to pick one. The nibs in these are standard YOLO nibs. So I didn't spend a lot of time meditating over the nib. I think I just got a fine, and I don't know what you got in yours.
I got a broad thinking that I might get a grind on it eventually.
Right. So yeah, we bought them together. Not really a package deal. I think we just paid for them together. But yes, we both got an ebonite Ranga.
The next pen that I want to talk about that I bought was this Bohème. When I saw it, I was immediately intrigued by it. If you haven't seen the Bohème before, the cap comes off. You can post the cap on the back, and as you screw it, the nib comes out. And so it's a safety. It's got a nice weight to it, but I do enjoy a pocket pen. And this was on my list to buy, was a Bohème pen. And then for the ink, instead of putting the ink where you would normally with a traditional vintage safety, the ink is kept back here in a little cartridge. And so I got a great deal on it, probably because it has somebody's name engraved on it or their signature. But that doesn't bother me. I'm just excited to have this, and I feel like I saved a bit of money because of the engraving. It's had them already inked, so I don't have to worry about, inking it and losing the value. But I like to use my pen, so this is just a fun pen for me.
Okay, so the last pens I picked up are more of a category than a single pen. So these are pens that were very, very cheap, i.e. $5, or free. The free pen is a knockoff of a Parker 51. It's a Chinese knockoff of a Parker 51 that I got on the Share the Love table. I thought it might be a real Parker 51. I got corrected very quickly. But I haven't tried it out, but it's cute. I don't have a Parker 51, so maybe maybe this will spur me to consider a real Parker 51. The other two pens were both damaged. So this first pen has some issue with the hinge on the lever. It's got a working sack in it, so it's probably usable. It's just not very pretty the way it is. The other pen was weird. The bottom finial had gotten stuck inside the cap. Somebody had posted it too far. It had gotten jammed in there. And I've actually managed to fix this one already. It took a little bit of effort, but it wasn't too bad, and a little bit of super glue, and this pen's good as new. So it's not a fancy pen, it's not an expensive pen, but it is the first fountain pen I've ever repaired. So this one will always be a little bit special because of that. And again, these were, $5 each for these, and free for this guy. And so yeah, just a little bit of I don't feel guilty about these. And I got a working pen, at least one working pen, maybe 3 working pens. So good deal.
And it's definitely good to get something that you can practice on. So,
which is not what you have there.
No, my last pen is the one that every once in a while you go to a show and there's something that, I don't know, makes your heart skip a beat. Anyway, and so this pen is a Waterman Serenity. I don't know if the shape is going to be able to be seen, but it's from the early 2000s. There's only 120 of these in this particular design. So they come without the overlay on them, and then there's a couple different versions of them. This is the Rising Dragon, and so there is a dragon in sterling silver on the body of it, and then this beautiful maquille in the pen as well. And I debated about this pen. I knew I wanted it. I was concerned about spending money. I'd already clearly spent a lot of money at the show, more than I was going to. But this was sort of a, if I don't buy it now, I'll never be able to own it moment. And, there were several people who said they never saw one for sale. Or if one does come up for sale, it'd be, twice the price and at an auction house. And so I bit the bullet. I bought the pen, and I don't regret it. My bank account regrets it. I'm sure the next month is going to be a little bit tight, but it's a really fun looking pen, and it's got a dragon on it. So not on my list, but I'm excited to be able to own this pen.
Okay, so that's the haul. That's what we picked up at the Philly Pen Show. Do you have any closing words?
Yeah, we need to bring more money next time.
No, we don't. I think the big thing that this haul shows us, we didn't buy we bought the Ranga. So the Ranga are our only modern pens. Is that what happened?
Do you count the mystery boxes we bought?
That's a different video. We'll have a video of the Kenro mystery boxes that we got at the show and everything that was in those that do include some modern pens and other items that we picked up at the show. So yeah, look for that video either linked above or on our channel.
Please like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.